In today's video, I'm going to tell you about 7 tips that are guaranteed to boost the chances of success when fundraising for your startup. Hi, I'm Afan, a former investment analyst and a startup growth advisor, and I've worked with several founders over the last couple of years to help them raise financing from pre-seed, seed to Series A rounds. I've also often worked with venture capital firms and corporate venture teams. So in a way, I have been on both sides of the table. Now, without further delay, let's go down into what are the 7 tips that can help you significantly boost your chances of success when raising money for your startup. First, you need to tell your story in a short, compelling sentence. It is quite likely that the investors will say, "Tell me more." When you hear this, you can be sure that now you have their attention. Anyone can tell a story in 300 words, but can you do it in 30 words or less? Investors these days scan through hundreds of opportunities every day and they have split second attention spans. And that is where you need to grab their attention with a compelling short statement about what your company is trying to solve. Here is how you can tell your story in 30 words or less. First, focus on what you do. Second, who you do it for. And third, how you do it better. Let's take the hypothetical example of a startup in the fintech space. Here is how their statement or story would go. We automate financial statement creation process for small and medium-sized businesses without the need for hiring professional accountants or installing complex accounting systems. Now, in this statement, you see what they are doing, which is automating financial statement creation, who they are doing it for, which is small and medium-sized businesses, and how they are doing it better, which is without the need to hire any professional accountants, which means they are somehow keeping the cost low for the small and medium businesses to help them create financial statements. Moving on to the second tip. Startup founders often do the mistake of reaching out to all types of investors, but this doesn't work. Just like how you would buy the right shirt or the right shoes for yourself based on the size, color, material, and so on, for your startup as well, you need to reach out to the right investors based on the industry you are operating in, based on the geography you are focused on, and based on the stage of life your company is in. So first, don't send your pitch to every investor. Be selective. Second, when reaching out to them, don't send generic emails. Send personalized ones. Third, link your pitch to the investor's other portfolio companies. Your relationship with an investor could easily last 7 to 10 years. Now, nobody wants to be in a relationship with someone so long if they are not compatible with each other. So, in a way, you plus this investor need to create a win-win solution. Basically, the investors need to understand how can they help you beyond just providing their money. I worked with the VC firm that was focused on e-commerce and marketing automation in the Middle East. All the deals they were doing were in this space. And often when they were reaching out to co-investors to hop on board this new investment opportunity, this is how they were pitching the investment opportunity to their co-investors and showing how this new investment opportunity has synergies with the existing portfolio of companies that they're already invested in. Third, try to get a warm introduction through a mutual contact. Just like when you are looking for a new job and if someone passes your resume to the recruitment team or the hiring manager, you have higher chances of being interviewed. The same way, if someone introduces you to an investor, you have much greater chances of being heard. Moving on to the fourth one. Have a clear plan on how you will use the funds that investors will put in your company. At a minimum, try to put them into buckets such as marketing, research and development or product development, and operations or staff salaries. Investment from venture capital firms and angel investors should go into unlocking the growth in your company. Nobody wants to give you funds for paying yourself a higher salary or for paying off the debt that you may have taken on from a bank. Investors want to see their funds going more and more into the development of the product or service that you are offering and to market that to a wider customer base. Also, very important, don't overpush the opportunity by saying you have no competitors at all or the opportunity is now or never. Be honest and have your facts ready. Now, moving on to number 5. It is important to keep the potential investors engaged. In most cases, you will not get the funds after the first meeting. In most cases, there will be some follow-up emails, follow-up conversations, and so on. It is very important that you respond diligently and the quality of your response matters. Do not give the impression that it is difficult to work with you. As I said previously, often this relationship could last more than 7 to 10 years, which is a pretty long time, and nobody wants to stick around with you for this long if you are difficult to work with. Additionally, try to always add a bit of a flavor on momentum. For example, do you have some new customers? Have new people joined your company? Where are you in terms of achieving certain milestones for your company? Have you recently signed an exciting partnership agreement or signed on a customer project? All these things help to keep investors engaged and excited about your business and give them the impression that your company is progressing. In some of my previous videos, I have mentioned market size matters, growth of the market matters. In other words, the problem that your company is solving should be a big problem and should be growing fast. Your idea should be a multi-billion dollar opportunity that competitors can't easily replicate. That being said, tip number 6 is don't just pitch your idea, show traction. Quality of execution is just as important as the quality of your idea. While it is always great to have paying customers, traction doesn't always mean paying customers. If you are in the very early stage, showing survey results of potentially paying customers is also traction. Showing that you have recently signed important partnership agreements is also traction. Winning some industry award is also traction. All this shows that the problem that you are trying to solve is a real problem for the customers that you are targeting. Moving on to number 7, benchmark versus startups who are in the similar industry as yours, maybe in certain other geographies. This helps investors to have more confidence that your company has chances of success and that someone else, somewhere else in the world, has proven the case. While benchmarking with other companies in the same industry, you need to have your arguments ready on how you are different versus them or how you are trying to solve the problem in a much better way compared to them. So these were the 7 tips that are guaranteed to boost the chances of success for fundraising for your company. So in addition to the 7 tips that I've just mentioned, here are some additional that you need to keep in mind. First, your problem should not be too abstract. For example, solving global poverty. This is a great problem, but try to trim it down to something that is tangibly solvable in the short run. You need to be on top of your numbers at all times. Revenues, customer base, the growth that you've been achieving over the last couple of months, your profit margins. This shows to investors that you know your business inside out and helps boost their confidence. Lastly, if you are a small business and venture capital firms, angel investors keep saying no to you, Does that mean the only option that you have is to close down your business? No. Perhaps you are a more conventional business and you have assets based on which you can approach a bank to leverage a small business loan. In many countries, governments have grants for small businesses and subsidized loans that can help your company go to the next level. So please tap into that. If you are interested in more videos like these, consider subscribing to my channel.